My husband's grandmother was tragically raped in her home, and I had to sell the house.
Contracts in the shadows, deals behind closed doors, money on the table, someone keeping score, foreclosures and mansions, secrets buried deep. Welcome to the stories the agents never keep. Dirty deeds in real estate, hidden lies behind the gate, big money, broken dreams, no one's ever what it seems. Oh yeah! The dark side of real estate. The dark side of real estate.
All right, let's get to it. Today we've got a story that, I'll just be quite honest, I could not find my normal research. I tried. You helped with several calls, but this story was it happened a while back, and it's a tough topic because this is personal for you, yet it's also business for you. But we tried all kinds of things. This is pre-internet, but still, we called sheriff's departments and offices, police departments, and every time I called a different department in Mississippi, of course,
Of course.
then they would say, "Oh no, we don't have that. Maybe you should call them, or maybe you should call them." And I just went in circles for a few weeks now, trying to get information on this. And we know for a fact that it happened. Jenny knows this happened. Other family members of hers can tell you this happened. But the state of Mississippi does not have any documentation, nor does the internet. And so all of this will be from Jenny's perspective. I could say you could Google it, and you can try to do that. But you may not get very far. And that's okay.
Yeah, we've even used the address.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Her name, we found her obituary because the grandmother has now passed, but the crime itself that we're going to be talking about today, we can't find evidence of. And that's okay. And I was telling Jenny and Philip when I kept calling all these places, because it's just in a small town in Mississippi, I felt like I was on a really bad Hallmark movie, a really bad horror movie, where it's like a small town. Oh, what was that movie? The Lottery? Like a small town where everybody knew what happened, but they were like, "Don't tell. She's an outsider. Don't tell her that, Billy Joe's son did this or whatever." And Billy Joe's...
Why's he got to be called Billy Joe?
You may call him Philip?
No.
Okay.
Billy Joe's awesome.
Okay. And I felt like everybody knew that I talked to, but no one would tell me because I'm not from Mississippi. And I didn't tell them that I'm not from Mississippi, but it's like they knew.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to say also, though, that my father-in-law, he wouldn't allow us to talk about it. He would shut it down immediately.
And that would be his mother.
Yes.
Your father-in-law, his mom was the one that was raped.
Yes. Yes. And so she went to court. She was strong enough to go through court for his conviction, face him, all of that stuff in court. And she would start talking about it with me because I don't know why we weren't there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why wouldn't we be there to support her?
Right. Of course. How old were you and Jay at the time of the crime?
Early 20s.
Yeah. So, you were old enough
Yes.
to be a part.
Yeah.
But I know every family is different, and sometimes families don't want to talk about things.
Well, he was that kind of, if there's something painful, he doesn't want anybody to hear about it, know about it.
People view it as optimism
Yes.
and being positive, and I understand that. But sometimes, because I am a big advocate for therapy and talking through things.
Well, and she liked to talk about things. So I was probably 27.
Yeah, you were old enough to be there if you wanted to be.
Yes.
If you could have, and I know she wanted you there, you would have been there.
Well,
if you were
and
allowed to be.
it's so funny. I don't know if you have these things in your life when you start thinking back, like, why weren't we there?
Right.
Like, we spent a lot of time with her. Like, we loved her. And I couldn't tell this story publicly until now because she has passed away. And so has my father-in-law. So I'm not doing anything against them now.
Right.
But what in the middle of the night, a drug addict broke into her house, and she lived on the Pascagoula-Moss Point line.
Did she live alone?
Yes, she lived alone. She had lived there for probably 40 years. And
Just a classic grandma house in Mississippi. Yeah,
yes,
Yeah.
her husband who built it worked at the paper mill. I mean, and,
Yeah.
it's just one of those stories. They later got divorced, and so she lived there by herself for many, many years. And so terrifying
Yeah.
that this could happen, but she did call the police. She did the right thing. She did report it. He was arrested, went to court. He was found guilty. So all of that she went through, and nobody in the family ever really talked about it.
Evidently, nobody in the state of Mississippi wants to talk about
I know,
it.
right?
They wouldn't tell me anything about it. Yeah. And is it a possibility that with the documentation and sheriff's department and stuff that this could have been washed away with a hurricane or something? Because in Mississippi, there's hurricanes all the time.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility that you could see?
Yeah, that's definitely
Happening.
a possibility.
Yeah.
Especially with Katrina,
Right. Right.
just because everything flooded.
Because that was 2005, 2003, something like that.
We were living here at the time, and it's so funny. My mom will be very upset with me that I
Oh,
can't
boy.
recall the date immediately of that
that's
because
okay.
it totally changed her life.
Well, I'm sure. Yes. It was a very big deal. Very tragic.
Yes.
But this was pre,
Yeah, that was-
hurricanes.
that
and
was before
possibly.
Katrina.
Yeah.
So Hurricane Katrina was August of 2005.
Like,
Okay.
I should know that.
Yes.
It's okay.
It was such
It's all right.
that was a
Yeah.
traumatizing part of our life, not knowing if our family was okay.
Right.
And
Right.
just getting my friends here, and
Yeah.
my dad had his house was 15 feet off the ground. He had 3 feet of mud in his.
Wow.
My mother had like 8 feet of water in hers, and they had to tear her house down because it was so bad. It was just a time. But yeah, so the records could be missing because of that. But my father-in-law came to me and said, "We're getting her out of this house. We're moving her to, ironically, his dad's house," and they had a bitter divorce. And let me just tell you, we spent every holiday together, both of them. And it was so much fun with the two of them. So she went to go live in his house after he passed away. So in the end, she got something. She was kind of happy about that.
But they wanted her to leave and be out of the environment and out of
Yes.
the memories the bad memories that she
Yes.
had there. And I don't blame them. I understand that.
Yeah, I understand. That was their only option
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the time to move them into the other house. But he says, "You are not," and he always has this thing with his finger. And normally he's a very happy-go-lucky person, but he said, "You can sell the house. You are not to tell anybody what happened there." And I immediately called my attorney and said, "Can I do this?"
Right.
Like, I want to honor my father-in-law's wishes and not bring this up about, Grandmother Christine. That's her name. That's what we called her, Grandmother Christine. But is this legal? And he said, we've talked about this before on the podcast.
Right.
Yes, you do not have to mention any crime. It has nothing to do with the property itself and what they are buying. So you do not. If you're asked a direct question, then you have to say so. And I said, all right, let me figure out how I'm going to handle this.
Right.
So, of course, a single woman writes an offer with me on it. And I'm like, okay, I would want to know
Right.
if I'm buying a house and I'm single that, this could happen, this has happened.
Right. In that area.
Yes.
I would want to know. It may or may not change the outcome of me buying the home.
Right.
But I would add security cameras or an alarm system or, whatever I could at the time of purchasing the home.
Yeah, this was before
I would just
all
want to
that.
have that in the back of my, but I would want to have that in the back of my head.
Or have a pit bull.
Yeah.
Right.
have a dog that barks all the time or a gun or whatever I could do to protect myself.
Yes.
Because even though that man was in jail, but still,
Right.
it doesn't have to be the same person coming back. It could, I would want to know.
So, I had to figure out how to do right by her, because if you move into a house and, you knew about this house, right? Like I knew about it because I'm related to so you have to disclose those things. You always have to disclose that if you're related to the
Makes sense.
seller.
Yeah.
And, everybody's going to tell her.
That's what
The
we've said
neighbors.
before. Like the
Right.
neighbors you're going to just be friendly in the South and go introduce yourself.
Right.
And it's going to come up. And that, if she doesn't know from you, that looks bad on you as a professional.
Or as a human.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Right.
So I was very stressed out about all this.
Right.
Not to mention the house was very, very old, and it had its own issues. But so I was talking to the lady, and I said, "Hey, have you met the neighbor?" And I knew her name. She was a character, and she said, "No, I hadn't." I said, "You need to stop by there and introduce yourself."
Yeah. Good job.
Smart.
Good job.
So she did, and then I could rest easy about it. But that's tough. I mean, these things can happen. Recently in the news, I read where, a police chief's mother was raped in her house, and that has to just be anguish for him
Absolutely.
to go through that. But of all of this, I know I brought it up to Jay's uncle one day, and he said, "What are you talking about?" So I'm like, "I know you know about this." And
His
no.
own mother.
Yeah. So they've kept it super quiet. And that is, again, my father-in-law's way of doing things.
I understand that. And I can't say what I would do, in that type of situation, and I'm sure he's, as a man, that you want to protect that's just part of you, just to protect, have that protection, just deep embedded within you, especially for your mother who is living alone. So he probably felt a lot of guilt, I would imagine, but we can't just act like it didn't happen.
Right.
It doesn't make it go away.
It doesn't. But that was a pattern. But it is funny when I think about it. It's only been recently, when we were about to talk about this story on the podcast, that I thought we should have been there.
Yeah, to support her and just help her.
Yeah.
I've never been in a part of anything like this, and no one that I know directly has ever experienced something like this. But I've heard that it's very difficult to get on the stand and to just relive what happened, especially in front of loved ones that, you love and want to protect. And she may have looked at you and your husband, especially Jay, because that's her biological grandson. Like, he's still
adopted.
a kid. Okay, but still a kid.
Yeah.
She may view him maybe as still a kid. And even though he was married and in his 20s,
Right.
maybe she wanted to have that protection of, I don't want my grandson to hear this. Or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say, of course. But
I think it's probably more him.
yeah.
Because she's very open. We
Yeah.
were close to her. We spent a
Yeah.
lot of time with her. She was an oversharer, so I don't think it was.
Yeah. Well,
I think it was probably him.
I
He didn't
understand.
want us to hear the details. He didn't want to hear the
yeah.
details.
And he didn't want anybody else to hear it either.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I understand that. I don't agree with it, but I understand it.
Right.
And again, I
do.
haven't been in that situation, so I can't say what I would do. But, was there anything that you remember that stuck out about the whole situation. Like you said, this man came into her house. She lived alone. She was raped. Thankfully, he did not kill her.
I know.
Or hurt her any more than he did. So, and I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but he just raped her and left.
Yeah.
Just left her laying there and just took off. But the police found him.
Stole some things.
And then the police found him, and it was pretty cut and dry. He was guilty. They found him. It was all done. Okay,
as far as I remember, that's what's so funny. It's like
that's
this
what you were
thing
told.
happened, and all I can, all the details are just about the house.
Yeah. Because that was the most that you were allowed to know.
I mean, it's so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Like really, like that is the thing that is.
So did you sell it to the lady who? So she talked to the neighbor.
Yeah.
But she still went ahead. and
Yeah,
bought
she
it.
still lives there today.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of that worked out. Of course, she called me after the fact, mad about some pipes or something. Weren't working under the house. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, but the locks are working. That's what you need to make sure of.
Better be. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh,
Well, that's
anyway.
always sad when things like that happen. It's just tragic and horrible. But I'm so glad that she went on to continue to live a good, positive life.
Oh yeah, she did.
And that didn't sound like it brought her down too much.
It really didn't.
Good.
I mean, always felt so bad that she had to go through something like that. But she had other things in her life that she went through, and everybody goes through stuff, but that's just particularly traumatic.
Yeah.
And I mean, now even looking back, I just feel worse for her for not really having probably the support that she needed through all that.
Yeah.
But
especially female support.
Yes.
That would be something that I would want, would be another female to confide in and and talk to and things like that. I know she had her sons and everything, but yeah, that's hard.
But that could have been her way of dealing with it too. It's just, I don't want to ever think about it again either. It was a bad day. It was a bad thing in life.
Right.
Not going to define me.
Right. Not
No
gonna
need to
wallow
ever
in
to
it.
discuss it again. Some
Maybe
people
so.
are just
she
that way.
definitely wasn't a victim on that.
Yes.
She
Good.
never acted on a couple other things. Yes, that no.
Okay. Well, good though. Good.
Let's hear about some of those
Good.
other things, Jenny.
Yeah. What else was there?
Just divorce.
Oh, I
Got
got
it.
Divorce.
Gotcha.
Fun.
Well, I am happy that she fought back and in some way, either to defend herself or even fighting back figuratively after the fact, to stand up, get up every day and be positive and fight for her life and say, nope, this isn't going to define me. We're not going to wallow in this. We're not going to keep doing this. That good for her.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to be a fighter in some way.
I agree.
Because
I
I'm sure
agree
there were hard
completely.
days. There were hard times.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
who wants to go through that? And if you've gone through something like that, I'm just so sorry for you. Send love to you for sure. But the whole, it says anything can happen in your home,
Yes,
and then somebody's got to sell it.
that's right.
And
Jenny can do it. Jenny's got it.
well,
do it.
You just have to think things through to make sure you're doing the right thing by all parties. But it's just another one of those dark side of real estate stories.
We got them. We got plenty.
Well, thank you for listening to it.
Of course. Of course.
Thanks for listening to our story today, and thanks for subscribing to Dirty Deeds Podcast, The Dark Side of Real Estate. And we've got a lot more stories coming for you, so stay tuned.
Ladies in real estate.
The content presented in Dirty Deeds in Real Estate is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not constitute legal, financial, real estate, or professional advice. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, real estate laws, regulations, and practices vary by state and are subject to change. Listeners should not rely on any information presented in this podcast as a substitute for advice from a qualified attorney, licensed real estate professional, financial advisor, or other appropriate expert. Any stories, case studies, or examples discussed may be based on real events, but may include altered details for privacy or storytelling purposes. References to specific individuals, properties, or transactions are not intended to identify or defame any person or entity. Neither the hosts, producers, nor affiliated entities assume any liability for actions taken based on the information provided in this podcast. By listening, you agree that you are solely responsible for your decisions and actions.
Jenny Williams is a licensed real estate agent with EXP Realty. The opinions and views expressed on Dirty Deeds in Real Estate are solely her own and do not reflect the views, policies, or positions of EXP Realty or its affiliates.